Welcome to Dialogue. Since its return to China in December 1999, Macao has experienced remarkable social and economic progress, with its per capita GDP now ranking among the highest in the world. What factors have driven this significant transformation? How has Macao aligned its development with the broader strategic goals of the Chinese mainland? And what challenges remain as it seeks to further its economic transformation and diversification? To explore these questions, I'm honored to be joined by Ms. Pansy Ho, Group Executive Chairman and Managing Director of Shun Tak Holdings Limited, as well as Chairperson and Executive Director of MGM China Holdings Limited. That's our topic. I'm Xu Qinduo. Welcome to Dialogue, Mr. He. We know that we are approaching the 25th anniversary of Macao's return. So you have been observing, you have been evolving in the development of Macao. How do you look at the changes over the past 25 years?
Well, indeed, I was throughout this whole process a participant, a beneficiary, as well as obviously a very proud, involving into many of these important initiatives and projects subsequent to the return of sovereignty. I was of course already starting to involve in business in Macao right before the handover. I could still remember vividly in 1994, I was first inducted to the business sector of Macao through becoming a board director of Air Macao. At that moment, there was the founding of Macao's own international airline. Then there was the opening of the international airport, and then I also joined my family business and started managing a portfolio of real estate developments and also hotel developments. So in that respect, I was, throughout the whole process, a key participant. We have gone through a really big learning curve, because before the handover, Macao was already a tourism destination in its own rights. But of course, the market that it served was rather limited. It was predominantly basically providing just leisure activities and some entertainment to mainly the Hong Kong market. After the handover, slowly and progressively, we became, in many respects, enjoying some of the open policy, and therefore, there was the possibility of first operating ferries that would bring people across the border. Eventually, through land borders, people would be free to travel between Macao, the SAR, and of course, mainland. And now, of course, we would have all sorts of avenues through even the Greater Bay Bridge that was built, linking Zhuhai, Hong Kong, and Macao together. And so now we have a really robust infrastructure that practically links, all the different kind of avenues that would bring people, whether it's from mainland, but also more importantly, internationally, using Macao also as a hub. So I was lucky because I was involved first and foremost with the development of the infrastructure area. So I would be in a good position to appreciate and understand, the whole urban planning rather than just developing a single standalone project. So with that in the background, and also because I was also doing a lot of the activities related to the community. So I also have a better sense of what the Macao people, really do want to see in terms of throughout the whole 25 years, how they see their own developments and changes. So adding together all these experiences and insights, I believe I would be in a good position to qualify in saying that I think Macao has gone through a successful 25 years of transformation. And transformation here, we're talking about a substantial and significant, really changing of our own profile and of our own positioning. Before the handover, Macau is a standalone, basically, small colony, and we didn't really have much resources. Like I said earlier on, even as a more developed destination, we were dependent on practically a single market from Hong Kong. But now we can count on us servicing some close to 30 million visitors a year. If it weren't for COVID, we were at one point at 39 million visitors in 2018. And then, and the difference is before then, I could still vividly remember, because in the year 1998, right before the handover, I was at that moment already taking charge of the ferry operations. We provided the main transportation means at that time. And I could still remember in 1998, our throughput each year was only at 3-point-some million passengers.
That's a huge change.
So we're talking about tenfold.
Tenfold.
In terms of growth. Now we have international airport, we have the bridge, as I had spoken, and also still the ferries. I came today, in fact, from Hong Kong to Macau. We have all the choices, and all within a 1-hour radius. We're talking about that.
Very
we're linked,
convenient.
to practically the other parts of the Guangdong province, which we now also call, now with a new positioning, we call it the Greater Bay Area.
Mm-hmm. And so what factors do you attribute to this development, to like a remarkable progress in social and economic landscape? Of course, we know that since 1999, Macau basically followed this principle of one country, two systems.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, since 1999, we have been created as a special administrative region. We were obviously granted a special positioning of the one country, two systems, which means we could continue thriving on, the original or the existing kind of economic structure and system, which involves also, of course, our pillar industry, which is the gaming sector. But at the same time, the central government had given us a lot of, encouragement and impetus through policies and through directives that really now give rise to us transforming into a more holistic and comprehensive tourism destination. We're talking about now, throughout the past 25 years, how we have transformed, adding to the fabric of our more single kind of sector industry. We now have a very vibrant MICE sector. I was one of the early people who also championed this initiative. We built the Macau Tower Convention Exhibition Center, and this is still now a major tourist attraction. This is potentially still the only non-gaming facility that provides for tourist attractions. Inside, we have a convention center, which is one of the earliest ones we created for Macau, which is a standalone but a sizable and international standard one. So I started that some 20 years ago. So we brought the MICE industry to Macau. We trained the people. We brought the know-how to Macau, and we also developed even some of our own unique branded activities. So like 10 years ago, I actually even started a Global Tourism Economy Forum, which have now already been organizing 10 editions of international tourism discussions amongst all the international tourism sectors. So from the hardware to even the software, there have been a lot of investments and also a lot of nurturing that we have been able to create for Macau.
Mm-hmm. So basically, this one country principle and then the two systems provide this flexibility, the room, and the potential for Macau to develop itself. You earlier mentioned about the Great Bay Area. We know that that's a very important flagship, in a sense, project of China to develop this innovation, high-tech sector. What does that mean? Does that mean to Macau as being part of this Great Bay Initiative?
Well, we now are part of the Greater Bay Area Initiative, as you said. It is comprising of the 2 special administrative regions of Hong Kong and Macau, and together 9 other cities within the Guangdong province, including Guangzhou, including Shenzhen, Zhuhai, and also more importantly, Hengqin, which is really the direct neighbor to Macau. This is a vast territorial area which has something like 89 million in terms of population base. It will become one of the most significant economic powerhouse of China. It represents already in itself today 1/3 of China's manufacturing production, exports, and also it basically has 5 airports within this area, which basically will be providing something close to 200 million in capacity throughput within the next 5 years. That potentially will put, in fact, the Greater Bay Area's aviation capability ahead of many international airports. We potentially will be the largest in the world in terms of providing passengers as well as cargo goods in transportation as a hub in the future. So we see that these are all important impetus for bringing to this whole area economic development potentials. For instance, in Shenzhen, we already know it is, in fact, similar to a Silicon Valley of China. All the major technological, advancements are now going through Shenzhen. And we also have, obviously, Hong Kong, the SAR, next door, that is already a finance center. Macau now is fast becoming a template for successful tourism destination creation. And also we can rely on some of the other cities within the Guangdong province to also be the the backbone of really providing a lot of the manufacturing capabilities, and therefore the utilizing the international capacity between Hong Kong and Macau to continue promoting the whole area. So we believe that this is going to propel the Greater Bay Area into really greater economic growth into the next decade.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a great potential. We know it's just the beginning, like Hengqin and Macau in-depth cooperation zone. It's just the beginning steps, but we are seeing, I have talked to people with the high-tech sector having headquarters in Hengqin. That's really impressive. You said that, this cooperation has turned differences of the system into benefits of the system. Of course, development in high-tech sector, and also there's a great potential for the young generation probably to find opportunities for their own career and development.
Well, you were mentioning about the in-depth cooperation between Hengqin and Macau, and indeed, this is true. Macau itself is small in terms of its geographic, territorial scale, but with now adding Hengqin to it, and we're only 5 kilometers, away from each other, linked by bridge. And the policy now is granted to people going into Hengqin, especially from Macau, that people will be benefiting or enjoying very close similarity in terms of taxation, in terms of a lot of the urban provisions and conditions, including even there's a University of Macau campus that is actually positioned at Hengqin. And there are plans to be building out even more crossover utilization. We're talking about in future that there would be more hotels that might be developed in Hang Tin, whereby, in Macau, we are really running scarce of land plots. So Macau's future growth and development is very heavily dependent on Hang Tin being what we call a back garden. But at the same time, Hang Tin's having the capability of attracting many of new migrants who could now go and settle in Hang Tin because and to enjoy all these really benefits and advantages is also going to be something very exciting. So together with an in-depth cooperation format, we believe that it will really bring together the possibility of attracting a lot of newcomers. We also are going to be focusing on a few major strategic areas because these are the areas whereby the central government has granted special policies and advantages to Macau and Hang Tin. For instance, we were talking about some of the technology areas. Most importantly in Hang Tin, there are obviously all the different spectrum of high tech, but I think right now the wellness and also the kind of health area is going to really take center attention there because Chinese medicine is basically one of the areas that are granted for Hang Tin, to go into its own development phase. We also can see a lot of these supportive areas complementary to Macau's development. So a lot of the services, a lot of the big data, for instance, that will be required in order to help Macau continue to develop its own capabilities in really mass level of tourism servicing will also take hold in Hang Tin, I believe. So there would be a lot of these crossover and complementary effects that one can see between the cities.
Mm-hmm. As we are celebrating this 25th anniversary, of course, we are not only looking, for these achievements, what we have, we are also looking into the future of Macau's development. You're one of the people who, at very early stages, even around the time of the handover, you talked about investing beyond the gaming industry, which is the backbone. And so your own business has grown and expanded out of the gaming industry. What's your experience, how can we do to invest, to develop beyond this gaming industry here?
We have indeed been the kind of pilot in propelling some of these new sectors. Earlier on, I was mentioning about MICE. Now, we also have seen the capabilities of Macau after garnering 20-some years of experiences in handling mass market kind of servicing. We just since the cessation of COVID and just in 1.5 year time, Macau has increased in terms of its facilities capabilities, and now we see a lot of entertainments coming to Macau, including concerts and special events that are all now coming to Macau because Macau has the level of international standards and also the capacity to host major events. We are talking about now for all of the international integrated resorts. We each will have our own specialized areas of attraction. Here at my own properties, for instance, we might not have the largest in terms of arena, but then we also have a very high quality theater right now that has a house show actually done by the very famous Oscar-winning director Zhang Yimou, which was launched only 2 days ago. Wow. But we're talking about really utilizing the top-notch technology and creativity and creating something that is an original show, which is not something that is just a passing through type of entertainment event. So today Macau has that sort of capability that we can actually do what we call our own branded IP projects, IP events, and when you can have that sort of, originality and creativity, then you're starting to be able to capture a lot of the international customers' interest. Because today, we all know that international travelers, they all go around not just like in the past, where they would simply be satisfied with just taking photos in, maybe a sightseeing sort of environment. They really want the immersive experiences, and they always yearn to see what is new and what is also original. So I think Macau now has that capability after 25 years of, this new development phase and really focusing on growth, on really creating value for our own, new outlook and image. We have been able to present to the world that Macau has its own uniqueness. We are the place with the East and West cultural, crossover. But how do we utilize it? In the past, maybe at the beginning, we were only focusing on just the historical part. But I think, now we have grown beyond that. We are talking about how to levy or leverage our heritage, our history, but utilizing it to a different level of, ability of attracting younger, especially, and also new markets. Mm-hmm. Another example would be I have also just done a museum, a really top-grade, national-grade museum, together with a major Chinese cultural group. And there we present the concept of the Silk Road, except we're not just doing it in the typical institutional and academic manner. We have elevated this experience. It became half entertainment, half, museum, quality, historical, and academic kind of notion. So there's the technology, there's the design, there's the entertaining aspects, all built into one. Yeah. And we have seen a lot of now tourists or visitors who have come and felt that this is something that is very unique, almost cutting edge. For them, they would not have originally imagined that this could be coming from Macau.
Wow, I see a perfect match of the tradition with the legacy, with innovation and adaptability with this new economic landscape. And Macau, maybe for that matter, Macau was awarded the title of Culture City of East Asia 2025. And why Macau was awarded that kind of a title, and what does it mean to Macau's development in that direction?
Earlier on, before we were awarded this particular title, we also had received from UNESCO, in fact, the Heritage and of Historical Cluster City, and then also afterwards the Culinary City Award. So you can see that we have been very strong on capitalizing on our unique culture aspects, both on the East and West, kind of conflicts of the two different cultures, but more importantly also lately focusing back on what we can do to bring out our own inherent mainland culture, which we share, of course, with the rest of the Greater Bay Area. Mm-hmm. So in that respect, for instance, from myself, as an example, I have been using the lion dance, which is part of this mainland culture that I spoke about, to become a beacon and a good example and really a symbol of one of our most visible Chinese heritage in cultural arts and sports. So we will organize tournaments, we'll organize events around this topic. It has been so, again, popular, it's now become an IP event. So, we do a lot of these projects with a clear vision and intention on how do we actually, extract from within what we have in terms of our common values, and then we elevate it to a different level, and in order so that we can basically gain for ourselves a special sort of profile and positioning. We believe that the new visitors, they look for unique opportunities and unique experiences. So these are the things that, you know, as a practitioner in this industry, we need to be really paying strong attention on. And obviously, we also need to, you know, invest into these new opportunities. We need to build the whole infrastructure, the whole ecosystem. What we're doing is we're no longer just buying maybe one or two programs and performances. We actually are building the infrastructures, you know, brick by brick.
Well, we're seeing Macao is becoming more and more competitive in that sense, internationally.
Yes. Yes. We actually, so, you know, when we are talking about all these so-called new categories of identification of us, it means that they reckon that we have the capability of reacting to it. Because just now when you're saying about this, you know, East Asia award, it basically means that we should now put also some focus on developing, you know, how do we actually do more collaboration with the East Asian kind of regions, which that is arising from our success earlier on when we can continue our East-West cultural exchanges. So it's just that in 2025, the focus will start to become, you know, on the Eastern Asian part, whereby we're all now already starting to plan series of programs around collaborations between countries on the East Asian areas, including, of course, Japan and Korea.
Japan, Korea, and China. Thank you, Ms. Ho. Thank you for speaking to us.
No, not at all. Thank you very much.
With that, we are concluding today's show. Many thanks to our guests. You can also watch us on the CGTN app on YouTube. I'm Xu Qinduo. Thanks for being with us. See you next time.